Hi Gemini, and welcome to your August 2019 general reading. So we're going to do a general, and then what I'm going to do quite briefly, look at you, the person that you're in relationship with, and the connecting card. My relationship readings are on Vimeo, so the link will be underneath, but what I'll do in this reading is give you a sort of brief look at the dynamics, and it's your choice if you want to look at the longer reading. Okay, so I hope that helps, and let's look at the general readings around Gemini for the month ahead. And I haven't done you an additional guidance card yet, but I'll pull it. So Nine of Swords behind you. Nine of Swords is a card of anxiety. It's the mind looking at all possible outcomes that are going to happen in the future. That's what anxiety is, and it's what projection is, and quite a challenging card. It's with the Tower card. I'll clarify these about what the Tower is about. I'm hoping it's the ending of anxiety, but we'll look. So what you most want is the King of Swords. Might be a person, or it might be you want control over your thinking. Okay, we'll find out. The Libra card is what's helping you get the King of Swords. So if any of you are dealing with a Libra person, a legal situation, and maybe that's where the worry's been coming from, it's coming up in your favor. The challenge is the Knight of Swords. Ace of Swords in your relationships, beautiful. So there's an awful lot of clarity coming through. Queen of Pentacles in your money and work, which is another very good card, very solid foundations. Eight of Wands in your soul position, and the Moon card is an outcome, which is quite interesting. It's quite often the Moon card that creates the Nine of Swords. It's about being challenged when you're dealing with uncertainty. Okay, so I'm going to pull you an additional guidance card now for Gemini, please. Oh, very beautiful. We get the Loyal Heart card. The Loyal Heart card is about seeing evidence in the 3D world in front of you, what you can see, what you can touch, and you can feel about someone's loyalty towards you. So maybe you felt it in your heart for quite a long time, but you haven't seen evidence of it. The Loyal Heart card is very different. Very beautiful card. So what's the Nine of Swords and the Tower about? Oh, beautiful. Favourite combinations of cards is the Tower with an Ace, because the Tower card breaks through oppressions. It breaks through stuck places, and for some of you this has been a sudden love at first sight. For some of you there's a lot of truth being spoken about an emotional issue. It's the hands of the divine. Very little you can do about the Ace of Cups. I spend a lot of time doing readings for people who try and block out the Ace of Cups. Okay, loads of times. The Tower card is this feeling of, some of you have really hit this love at first sight, some sort of epiphany. With the Ace of Cups quite often comes fear, because one of the spiritual purposes of love is to shine a light within us, and it shines a light in a very it shines a light on our fears. It shines a light on those parts of us that don't feel worthy. Very beautiful combinations of cards, these three. And I think if any of you who have met someone new and there's a lot of fear, my advice is not to worry. That is what the Ace of Swords does, and the Ace of Cups does. it comes into our life sometimes when our lives have become too small, we became quite stuck. So it brings great change into our lives. And it might be a little bit of a shock for some of you, but as an astrologer as well as a tarot reader, it's about the evolution of our lives. Okay, very, very beautiful. So you want this King of Swords. So he might be an air sign because Libra is also showing up in the gift. This could be a legal situation that's been resolved, by the way, because the King of Swords would definitely be a judge. Yeah, very official. He has objectivity. And with the Justice card, that could be some good news legally. For some of you, this is definitely a person, or you just want to feel it's definitely a relationship. Look, connecting card is a Lover's card, which would... I've been a reader for a very long time, Gemini. That is the same as these cards, to tell you the truth. Very interesting. So the King of Swords is a challenge. The King of Swords is about speed. He's about communication. He's the fastest moving knight. Be careful of any words. Be very careful of communication this month, because the Knight of Swords in some of my other decks is a knight who has cut the head of a dove, which means he communicates in a way which can be a little bit detached from his heart. Okay, so that might be you, or it might be the other person, because the Eight of Wands is in the soul position. The Eight of Wands is very, very fast moving communication. It's Cupid's arrows. Sometimes we can say words in haste. As an air sign, I definitely get this, that can destroy a sort of budding love affair, or it can destroy a bond. So be careful of your words, okay? So why is the Knight of Swords a challenge, please? One card. The Queen of Wands. Again, she could be a person, but the Queen of Wands doesn't act in this card, which is very interesting with the Eight of Wands at a soul position, because that's about an awful lot of communication. Sometimes the Eight of Wands doesn't actually meet. So it's a lot of backwards and forwards communication, but not moving into contact. We move into contact mostly with the earth sign cards, that's on the fire, okay? So there might be a lot of communication, but not quite coming together yet for some of you. For some of you, really be careful of communication. The Knight of Swords can be a little bit of a wanting to move so fastly that your system feels really overheated. So take a deep breath and allow, okay? The Ace of Swords is showing up in your relationship house. So there's a lot of clarity. There's a lot of vision coming through. And it's with the Fool card. Very, very beautiful. This is about new potentials and brand new pathways. He's a zero. And the Ace of Swords cuts through crap, by the way, and gets to the heart of something. And the Fool is about brand new pathways and exciting potential new avenues opening up for you. Stunning reading so far. You and Libra, I don't know if you're doing any cross-watching. Libra got a very beautiful reading as well. It's eventually the cards that they were stuck in is beginning to move. The Queen of Pentacles at a soul level, at your money and work and your life path is looking very good. The Queen of Pentacles does have a certain level of financial security. So there's a chance some of you might not have been feeling that with that Nine of Swords, but the Queen of Pentacles has got very powerful ground under her feet. Don't forget there's a peacock. The peacock gets its tail because it eats its thorns, okay? So our thorns are thinking processes, and our thinking processes based on fear tend to be, will there be enough? Projecting the past onto the future. So there's a lot of overcoming going on for you this month, which is absolutely love to see it. The Eight of Wands in a soul position, okay? Again, it's a lot of communication, but it's with the King of Cups. Again, the King of Cups isn't the most active card. A lot of feelings. The King of Cups dips his toe into the water. Can you see it? But he doesn't jump into the ocean, which I think the Knight of Swords as a challenge is actually pointing to. Because the Knight of Swords just wants to rush, yeah? The King of Cups has got this incredible emotional sovereignty, so he doesn't need to rush anywhere. He dips his toe in, he communicates, but he is the King of Cool. Some people see it as a negative, or is it? Depending on how you look at it. Because when the King of Cups shows up in this position, it talks about having an awful lot of emotional peace and dignity, which means you don't have to run after anything, Gemini. You've got the power to take a step back, to communicate, to keep the flow going, but not rushing into anything. Now the moon is your outcome, which is about being in a period of uncertainty. I know, Gemini. A lot of people don't like the moon card because we all like feelings of certainty, okay? And when we're in the moon, sometimes we don't feel that. The good thing of the moon card is about comfort. It's about self-nurture. It's about self-care. But it's not, there has to be an acceptance of being in the unknown when you're with the moon card. And that's when fear can become very, very strong. Healing the moon part of us changes our lives, by the way. So if we learn to be a little bit at peace with uncertainty and the rhythms and the flows of life, our life becomes so much more peaceful, which is the King of Cups at the soul position. So tell me what the moon's about. One card, please. The Emperor. So there might be a little bit of uncertainty about taking charge of your direction. The Emperor is I am and I will. Very much the Aries card. Very interesting combinations of cards with the Moon and the Emperor. Because the Emperor wants to move forward. He really wants to, he's Aries, so he wants to push and he wants to birth and he wants to get on with it. When the Moon is very much more softer. It's a bit yielding, it's a bit allowing. And it does make me realise why that Knight of Swords is a challenge, because it's like this burst of energy that just wants to just go for it. And a lot of your cards are pointing to a much more regal way of being. And I use that word very, very, because when we become regal, we really don't have to search, we don't have to push, because we have this incredible authority, and not power over people, but authority over our own self, where we just have this incredible self-esteem, which for like, no. Whatever wants me can find me. I'm totally open, but I'm definitely not pushing. This is a lot of your energy. So let me look at your relationship dynamics. This is going to be an interesting one, Gemini. So who are you? One card to describe Gemini. Okay, you're the Justice card, which is the gift, by the way. Libra, but it's about balancing the scales. Libra is relationships. It's what it is in our birth chart. So this is about resonance. It's about connection. It's about relationship, basically. So who's the other person? Now, this is very strange. The other person is a Knight of Swords. So they're the ones that might be pushing to they might be the challenge because they're trying to push too fast. And you're much more Libra about it. Much more graceful. Much more... I'm not judging Knight of Swords, by the way, but I'd be a little bit, oh, chill out, mate. Just breathe, take it easy. What's the connecting card? Yeah, Ace of Wands. So there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of sexual attraction. This is the birthing of something or the renewal of something, because Wands can be about renewal. Tell me one more card about the other person, and I will be doing it on Vimeo, Gemini. Yeah, look, they're on their way. Knight of Swords with the Tower card. Fastest moving energies possible. These are cards that change everything. I've only got about 4 cards that change everything, by the way. And this combination is the transformation of something. I've had these cards before when I've seen people completely relocating within a week. That's what's coming your way. It's the other person. So why is I know the reading will be in Vimeo, guys. Okay, why are you being the Justice card? You're very at peace around this, Gemini. One card, why you've been the Justice card. It's with the Lovers card. Something very, very powerful is going on here. Okay, guys, you might have some choices to make. The other person's just full speed ahead to bring change into this dynamic. Okay, the link will be below, and I'll speak to you later, Gemini. Bye.